No major update from me from Sheffield Chamber this morning, so I think without further ado, I'll just hand straight over to Helen and Lauren to deliver the presentation. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Em. Awesome, thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for joining us this morning. As Sam has just said, this is the second of our three-part series we're doing in association with the Chamber. Sam, can I? Oh, that's it. It's just on mute. That would distract me, and I'm not competing with background noise. Yeah, it's the second of a three-part series that we are hosting in conjunction with the Sheffield Chamber. HEW is standing for Health, Excellence and Wealth. So 3 pillars, nicely summed up then into the 3 introduction webinars that we're hosting. And today you are signed in for the second pillar of HEW, which is excellence. So the content is all around survival or thriving in your business, and we're looking at excellence and mindset and everything that you need to underpin that debate in which you're taking between survival or thriving in your business. So myself and Lauren are going to be tag teaming throughout the webinar just here. So we will be flicking from slide to slide, and you see both of us that will be sharing the content as well with you. We're very relaxed, we're very approachable. If you've got any questions, you want us to oversee anything or ask us anything, stick it into the chat box or raise your hand and we will cover it towards the end. It will be open forum as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's go into today's webinar then, Lauren. So what actually is mindset then? I'm not going to read this out to you. You can take a quick snapshot of it on your phones if you like. This is from our Instagram account, so do fire over to Instagram as well and bookmark that and reference it wherever you can. But basically everything that we do, that we adopt and that we talk about and we coach people through is all underpinned by your mindset. Okay, so your health, your excellence and your wealth is underpinned by how tuned into your mindset you actually are. The queen of mindset is Carol Dweck. You may or may not have come across Carol's work and the mindset theory. If not, do take a look into that. But everything that we are predicating all of this on is a lot to do with your mindset. It's all about everything that you do every single day. It's continual improvement. Okay, so everything that we're going to be covering off, have mindset at the forefront of it.
My screen, there we go, my screen paused. That wasn't a dramatic effect pause, it was just Zoom. Okay, so we want to start off with just really getting to the crux of who we're competing against. I'm guessing everybody knows who these 2 guys are. If you managed to miss the big boxing match of the year, even though this feels about 2 years ago to me now, between lockdown and everything else, I believe it was only 3 or 4 months ago. And often when we talk about mindset, you know, within business, within whether that be a self-employed role, whether you're leading a company, whether you're a freelancer, whether you are in an employed role, for us, even though we talk to entrepreneurs and business owners predominantly, we're very clear on our language. For us, the title of what you do, whether you are leading a team, like I say, of 5 people or 50 people, whether you're responsible for a budget of, you know, £500 or £500,000, the titles to us are irrelevant. When we're speaking to you directly at this point, when we talk about your business, if you are an individual who's not currently running a self-employed business, please just exchange that language in your head for you're running you as a business. And when we talk about mindset and competition, often we can get pulled down the mind of who are we actually competing against? You know, are we competing against, you know, maybe another senior manager? Are we competing against another actual competitor within the same marketplace? Are we competing against the noise on social media? And where we always want to start these conversations around your mindset is it really is you versus you on a daily basis. And I think the big thing that we touched on there at the start with regards to your mindset is it's continual work. We would love to tell you, and if we could sprinkle dust across this and say, you know, do a couple of webinars, you know, do some one-on-one coaching, you know, get yourself on some personal development and growth workshops. And once that box is done, tick it off, file it away, and then it's done. The reality is, it's just like within a boxing match, the punches keep on rolling. You know, over the last few weeks and months, how many of us could have predicted some of the punches that have come at us, the different things that we've needed to adapt within our business, our communication. I can see here, you know, there's lots of us working, you know, from newly created office spaces, but there's been different challenges and different punches that have come at us in the last few months that we can all recognize, and we can all take that personal experience of gone, you know, I didn't realize how that would affect me. I hadn't planned for this pivot within my business or within my team. And what we have to come back to is that the challenges are always going to be coming. And this is why your mindset and your growth mindset in particular is so important, because I don't want it to sound like, you know, there's always a doomsday or there's always a negative coming, but part of growing is coming through challenges, and it's you versus you every single step of the way. The way that I describe it to a lot of clients when they go, you know, I've done some work on my mindset, when will it end? When will it be enough? Think about it a little bit like dusting your house, okay? How great is it when female or male specific in this conversation, whether it be dusting the house, whether it be the weights that you do in the gym, whether it be the run you do out on the road this week, when you do it once and you get that result and you get that great feeling and that satisfaction, and then you go, great, now I want to do it again, and I need to do it again, and I need to do it again. With your mindset and with that battle between your inner challenges and, you know, the day-to-day challenges that come up, ask yourself this, is that, have I dusted that muscle down? Have I dusted that skill down? And also understanding that if it's always me versus me, the biggest challenge I'm going to have is the punches that I throw at myself. The biggest challenge that I'm going to have is sometimes my internal thought, my internal dialogue. It's not always going to be someone who's opposing me in the ring, but it certainly is going to be someone who's opposing you in the mirror every single morning. With this one as well, understand that if you know, we talk about you first an awful lot, and it's sometimes it's very simple to understand. And then when you go another layer down, you think, what does it actually mean to put you first? When it comes to your mindset and when it comes to your choices and your discipline and your habits and all those words that get used in this field, you know, quite regularly, it's understanding that if you don't do the work on your mindset, if you don't do the work on your excellence, how do you then give back to anybody else around you? Often when we can start the conversation with clients about putting themselves first, you know, they almost see it as, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be all consuming. I don't want it to be all about the me show. And then I kind of push you back to someone like a Tyson Fury. I'm not a huge boxing fan, so I don't have lots and lots of actual knowledge, but the knowledge that I do have on him is how focused he is on what he needs. He's so focused on promoting himself. He's so focused on the positives of Tyson Fury that is a massive part of his game plan when he's in the ring and challenges and punches are coming at him. So understanding that mindset is always you versus you. It's a muscle that can continue to build, but that always needs dusting off. Dusting it off once and going, that's that bit shelved and boxed away, is never going to be the answer. We wish it could be. Our jobs would be really, really easy. It's continual work that must be ongoing. Okay. Helen mentioned there about the leader in this field, a lady called Carol Dweck. The book is actually called Mindset, and it's probably the book that I recommend the most to people, you know, week in, week out. If you haven't read it or if you haven't heard of it, it's on Audible, and there's great stuff on YouTube as well, but it's really worth the investment to read the book or listen to the books for 6 or 7 hours, whatever it may be. But if you are new to hearing the word growth versus fixed mindset, there's a very clear indication of what is a fixed mindset and what is a growth mindset. Now, here's where I think is a simple challenge, is that most of us will say, yes, I'm growth. I want to be growth mindset. By the very nature of the fact that you're here today investing in your personal development and your mindset, yes, you want to grow and you want to develop. But if we bring it down to the real crux of it, it's understanding that we can have growth mindset in certain elements of our business and in certain elements of our life, but then we can be really fixed in others. And then understanding, how do we not just have that mindset, but how do we translate it to our actions? How do we translate it to our language? How do we translate it so that we actually believe that when we're having the challenge, me versus me, that I know that I can learn anything that I want. This is one that stands out hugely, especially if you've got children or if you're around nieces or nephews or anything like that. When we speak to, you know, young people, when we speak to our own children, we often tell them, you put your mind to anything, you can learn it. But when we become business owners, or when we become leaders of teams of people, the idea that we can learn anything we want seems to escape us. You know, we could debate here whether that's the education system, whether it's grading things, whether it's society, you know, we could do all those debates. But do you truly believe within your growth mindset there is anything that you can learn within your business? You can learn to be more disciplined. You can learn to be enthusiastic. You can learn to public speak. You can learn to close the sale. You can learn to use a CRM system. You can learn to do the social media. You can learn to do the networking versus the fixed mindset. I'm either good at it or I'm not. And how that displays within our thoughts and how it displays within our language. I can hear it in my own words at times, and something I have to continually work on. When we say things like, it's okay for them, they're good at X. It's all right for them, they're naturally a born salesperson. And having that awareness over the dialect in our mind is really when it starts to alert us. You're like, crikey, that is a really fixed mindset I'm in. The next one down there is if I fail, I learn. I don't fail, I just learn. And again, it's something that I'm sure lots of us say positively, to other people, but do we apply that to ourselves? And if other people succeed, does that make you feel fear or does it inspire you? Does someone else winning a contract, does someone else getting a promotion, does that make you feel lack within your own self and in your own ability and within your own growth? Or are you inspired that if someone else can do it, so can I? Versus the fixed mindset thinking, if I just don't have that natural ability, it's going to determine everything and there's no way I can do any more. And also having that fixed mindset of, if someone challenges me, whether it be a client, whether it be a customer, whether it be my boss, whether it be a shareholder, whoever that person is, when I'm challenged, they're attacking me. When I'm challenged, it's because they don't think I'm good enough. Versus going into that growth mindset of, well, if I'm challenged, it's because there's a question that needs answering. If I'm challenged, I can put my mind to it and learn how to adapt. So fixed versus growth mindset, honestly, it's probably a 2-hour conversation just in one pocket. But everything that we come down to within, competing with ourselves every day is my mindset growing or is it staying fixed? And if I continue with the mindset that I have in a fixed level, what does that mean for my impact further down in my role and further down within my business too? Where's my screen again? Let's see. There we go.
Awesome, thank you, Lauren. So excellence then. I've mentioned that this is the second pillar of HEW, and this is the second webinar that we're doing. Everything that we do is not mutually exclusive. It all underpins and interweaves with each other. Last week we looked at your health. We looked at how then adopting a healthy lifestyle, a healthy approach in terms of your emotional health, your physical health, your mental health, opens things up for you. It gives you energy, it gives you clarity. That feeds in nicely to this systematic approach that we've got, straight into your excellence, then opening it up for how you can start to apply different suggestions within your business. So excellence here, this sums it up nicely. We use our own different graphics, but this sums it up nicely. That's got a couple more business connotations in here for you. So your innovation, your communication, your ideas, these are all the things that you will be looking at in terms of sitting down with your team or sitting down with your significant others, or if it's just yourself for your business, and showing and looking on how you can start improving, start looking at how you can start growing your business. You can only do that if you have adopted all of the growth mindset elements of things, that you're open and that you're aware to be able to achieve that in the first place. If not, then all of the ideas, the creativity that you're seeking will not just come to you. And this is why we focus on a hashtag you first as the individual, the business, the driver, the strategy, the driver behind the wheel, because the business strategies, doesn't matter how sexy they look, how much they're going to offer you in terms of return on investment, how many more leads you're going to get through it. If you as the person aren't honed and skilled to be able to do that from your mind and from the ability of you as the individual, the external strategies are not going to stick. And if they stick, they are only going to be around short term. So we're looking for sustainability, and we're looking for the actual clarity that you can apply and transfer everything into your business element there. So excellence, we basically have our own definition around this, and it's being better than you were yesterday. Okay, it's not saying that you need to be the best. It's not saying that you need to be number one. It's not saying that you need to be award winning, because everybody's goals are different. You're different. Your skill set's different. Your ability is different. Your dreams, your vision, everything is different. We work on you as the individual and you as the business, right? So that you are achieving what you want to achieve. But as long as you keep knocking on that door, working on your daily self, working on your daily excellence, working on your daily mindset, you're improving continually, day in and day out. All that we ask is that with the application, that you are improving and being better than you were yesterday. There's a Japanese term that I learned in my business studies years. Mr. Morris, you will be pleased, I still apply this some years later. It's called Kaizen. And if you're not familiar with that, that is basically the continual improvement. That fits in so nicely and aligns with what we are talking about and achieving within your excellence mindset. Okay, so the continual improvement. This is so important to just touch upon here, as you know, businesses and people that are in employed roles, because you would automatically, as I've said with the external strategies, be knocking on the door to say, right, okay, we need to adopt this particular external strategy. We need to go out and purchase this. When actually, it does come down to a balance between you as the person, mindset or skill set. And this is what comes into it here in this area, is the mindset that we've covered is basically adopting about 80% of your ability. So your results are going to depend on your mindset by about 80%, and 20% of that comes in with the skills that you need to be able to apply that. Okay, the skills here in the 20% is where it all consists of, where you go for your external strategies, where you look at learning and adopting more things, whether it's improving your communication skills, whether you want to learn how to become a public speaker, whether you want to learn the software to use and apply some online shopping channels and be visible for online sales. That all will come into that 20%. But if that 80% is not solid and has the set foundations, that 20% is just not going nowhere. So be very, very mindful of that, knowing what you want to achieve, that it all sits with you, or at least the 80% of it does. Okay then, so moving on nicely to skill set, the 20%. Okay, thriving or surviving. Firstly, it's starting with awareness. Everything that you do starts with awareness, right? So I want you to think about your awareness of your current situation, and what is your awareness of your skill set here today, now. What are you good at? What are you not so good at? What are the members in your team good at? What are they not so good at? Take stock, have an audit internally at your skill set with today in mind, okay? Because without knowing where you are right now, it's hard to know where we need to be taking you to going forward. Have a look then. It'll come up with the areas that you need to observe, and that has come up as apparent need for upskilling. What do you need to upskill in for you and your team to then start growing and moving forward? At number 2 here, it says role day to day. Are you actually in survival mode right now? Are you just treading water? And this is the danger zone. We ask people normally to gauge it on a scale of 1 to 10. And if people sit around the zones of 5 and 6, we identify that as the red danger zone more than what we would a 1 or a 2. A 1 or a 2 is fine because we can quickly flip the switch. A 5 or a 6 is the complacency zone. It's the okay. It's the average. Okay, that's where you are treading water. You're not going anywhere. You're not moving anywhere. You're literally just staying still in the middle. Okay, so do it again on this audit. Are you just saying to yourself that you are surviving? Okay, I know at the current situation with things right now, the thing that is kind of the default position for people, and you know where people are actually then focusing their energy on, is just surviving. They're saying, look, you know, Helen, Lauren, we've just got to concentrate on keeping our doors open. Okay, I get that, and I'm not disputing that. All of this, by the way, that we communicate on and that we deliver on is apparent to you every single day, irrelevant of pandemic or not. We want you to have that mindset so that you can tackle absolutely anything. You know, we work on mindset. We could not have put mindset in our toolbox to then be to have a defense against the pandemic, because none of us saw it coming. But this is now saying to you, okay, am I okay with that densely populated danger zone that you seem to be sort of treading water in? Or is it time then that I take my role from a day-to-day aspect into where it can actually propel me forward in business? Which leads us nicely onto number 3. So you've got your goals. I want you to set them. If you've not got them, I want you to think about them, set them, know them, and become bloody obsessed with them. Because this is where it is all, this is where the magic's going to happen. Once you have that anchor, once you have that awareness over what it is that you're wanting to do, you've decided, I'm not sitting in that average zone anymore. I'm not all about survival. I want to thrive. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to apply. I want to adopt. Okay. If you've got that within you, this is where we can push you forward to go into growing all of that. Anyone can grow. Anyone can be more, have more, achieve more. You know, set yourself apart from anything that you've had before. Remember, it's improving on what you were yesterday. Yesterday is now old news. What went yesterday is gone. We need to move you forward into today's goals, tomorrow's goals, next week's goals, next month's goals, and keep you striving for more. And that's where that's all about. But it has to start first and foremost with where are you right now and where do you want to be?
Okay, so Helen's got us all talking and thinking about goals now, and we're thinking, how do we get from where we currently are, where yes, we might be, there might be a couple of things that people are feeling right now, and we might be evoking a few little pain points in some people, and if you're getting to a bit squirmy point in your stomach and you're kind of starting to dislike us, don't worry. We are used to that when we start these conversations, because when we start to move forward with our mindset, with our skill set, we're then working towards a goal. Okay, so we've gone from being comfortable surviving. We've acknowledged that we don't just want to be at a 5 or a 6. We don't just want to be keeping our head above water. We want to be growing. Small steps, big steps, leaping across mountains. So we've set the goal. And now we need to work out, right, we've set the goal. How do we get it hit? We're not going to do a whole session here on goal setting the right goal, working it down into individual. But the one thing that we can tell you that has to be built within your mindset to achieve any of those goals, small or large, today or for long term, is discipline. So when I say the word discipline to a lot of people, again, our first reaction or our first thought that it evokes can be a negative. So I know we're all on Zoom and it's not an easy way. If we were in a conference room, we'd probably all chat and we could have a bit more verbal interaction. But how many of us, when we hear discipline, do we immediately think of being told off? Do we immediately think of a negative? We immediately go to the fact that when we discipline something, even as I'm doing it, you know, our tone of voice and our language will go to that we need to have a discipline on that. And again, we think about it with children, we think about it with the law, we think about it with society. There needs to be more discipline. So the first thing is you need to make peace with the word discipline and ensure it isn't just a massive negative for you. Because the one thing that comes very closely linked to your mindset, but then taking it from something that's just up in our head to our actions, is the discipline to get you across. This visual actually is one, I hope it sticks in your head, because, you know, what happens if that lovely climber rock person dude didn't have the discipline to get all the way across, if he hadn't done the training, if he didn't have the setup? Your man's falling down into a creek there, and you know it's not going to be a good result. But when we look at discipline, the first thing is to understand is that to have it, you have to build it. You cannot outsource discipline. And it's something for me and Helen as business coach and as performance coaches. You know, people say, I'm going to hire a coach because then I'll be disciplined. And I'm like, no. We are not here to shout at you. Your boss is not there to yell at you. You know, there's a lot of people here with varied backgrounds. So some of you may have started running a business because you didn't want to be controlled and told what to do. Lots of us went to university and did master's degrees because we wanted to have choice and we wanted to have options. We've worked really well in our careers, whether it be in a corporate world, in a freelance world, whatever it may be, because we want more. We've got that growth within us. So then you put the word discipline on top of that. You're like, I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be controlled. So it's reframing that word and understanding that to get towards the goal requires discipline every day. And here's my biggest takeaway with discipline is that if we don't have discipline, our emotions are going to get the better of us. Okay? Our emotions are very good indicators of lots of things within our life, but most of us make our decisions based on our emotion as opposed to our discipline. And you go, if you think about it again, put that example back onto children. Maybe if you have kids of your own, or if you think back to being in school yourself, we had the discipline of when a lesson started. We had the discipline of homework. We had the discipline of what a team sport needed to be. We had the discipline of when we ate. We had the discipline of when we did, PE. I know everyone's been doing PE with Joe Wicks over the last couple of months, but having that discipline of every single morning getting up and doing jumping jacks with Joe, that discipline is what creates the right habits, and that discipline is what creates the plan. So if we only did what we felt like doing, how many of us would really get towards that goal? What did so many of us feel like doing this morning? Pressing the snooze button, having another 10 minutes, having another hour. Some of us will have felt like doing, very little. But the very nature of the fact that you're here at 9:30, prioritizing your mindset, prioritizing your growth, prioritizing a free webinar is saying so much about your discipline. So when we start the discipline conversations and we go, listen, discipline wins over emotion every time. Discipline is a positive. Discipline is that muscle. Think of the Tyson Fury example there. It's interesting if anyone does know a bit about Tyson Fury. Mine's largely based on the documentaries that he's released, not actual boxing knowledge, to be clear. But the discipline that he had around taking his situation from drugs, from alcohol, from being overweight, from being depressed, all of those things that were very serious, not just in his professional life, but in his personal life, that could have taken him on a very different route. But the discipline, and that's where boxers and any sports stars, they really have this, and why they convert that into business. Something we talk about with discipline is having the discipline of putting you first, doing 20 minutes exercise every morning, the discipline of putting your agenda together. Because if we didn't put our agenda together, if we didn't have things in our diary, what do we feel like doing? Netflix? We're all at home. Can do. What do we feel like doing? Not doing anything productive for an hour because there's no boss or there's no client or there's no shareholders on our shoulders. So having that discipline is what stops us going down the emotional route. Okay. The positive is we do all have discipline. Sometimes people give themselves a really hard time. They go, I'm just not disciplined. I'm not disciplined. We live in a world now, especially in technology, which has a huge amount of positives, but there are distractions everywhere. We have Zoom meetings, we have WhatsApp, we have Slack, we have Asana, we have emails. There is so much stuff that's vying for our attention and our time. And then you think about us working from home. Some of you will have your children, your partner, your dogs, your neighbors, the Amazon delivery guy, whatever it may be. How many distractions do we have? So if we don't have discipline, we're just going in other people's direction. We're serving other people's goals. We're serving other people's purpose. Having that discipline for excellence with your mindset serves you towards your goal and your purpose. But what I want to finish on from this point is that you do have discipline, but sometimes you don't credit yourself to transfer it onto the other area of your life and business where it'll do well. So a bit of a takeaway point here, a bit of a task to do in your own time is look at where you have discipline already in your life. Do you have a great amount of discipline with regards to walking your dog? Do you have a great amount of discipline of feeding your kids every day? They might sound like silly examples. Do you have a great amount of discipline about surfing social media for 2 hours a day? That takes some discipline at times. Look at where you actually have discipline and acknowledge it and go, so that muscle does exist. I just need to implement the muscle and the skill of discipline onto the next area of my business. Okay, and the final takeaway on this is understand, is that discipline coming from an internal or an external source? Okay, so very easy one to understand if we're employed or if we have a direct line manager or a board of directors that we answer into. We are externally disciplined by them. Okay, external discipline, external validation, anything that external, it does have a place. The problem being is as soon as that external thing goes, where does the skill and where does the result go? So for example, with your teams, I know a lot of people here are managing people remotely. If you're in an office with them, you're the discipline because your head is there all the time. You're walking by, can I have that report? Can I have that deadline? So external discipline has a place. Again, this working from home situation has given a lot of us some perspective. What we need to make sure is our team and ourselves as individuals, we have internal discipline. And internal discipline that leads on to why do we want to achieve that task? Why do we want to achieve that part of our business? Why do we want to achieve in that part of our life? Because when you've got an intrinsic internal discipline muscle that's been built and built and built and replicated and kept going, it will serve you in every area of your life, which is why when we talk about mindset, excellence, and everything around this growth and development, if you have discipline in your exercise, that transfers onto your business. If you have discipline within your business life, that transfers onto your family life. If you have discipline within your personal life, that transfers onto your business. So it's only a positive. So starting with that word, is it a negative for you or is it a positive? Is it something that you can build? Is it somewhere already in your life? And is it internal or is it external? Once you make friends with discipline, you're as happy as that little rock climber jumper there, not falling down the cracks of life.
Awesome, thank you. I've just realised that in our slides we've got quite a lot of mountains here. We are mountain climbers and hikers ourselves, but that's the link. But yeah, just going on this graphic as well. Again, with the action taking and climbing a mountain. When you go to climb a mountain, you need to know what the top looks like. You need to know how far it is. You need to know how high it is. You need to know what you're going to need. You're going to need to know the climate. You're going to need to know that you've got everything that is required from that. Okay. Then you start looking at the bigger picture. You've given yourself the task that you want to climb this mountain, right? And then we work backwards from that to then start with the end in mind. Okay. When it comes to taking action, we often forget that part. We often say, oh yeah, I know what to do. Yeah, I know all that. You're probably, nodding along at all of this when it comes to all of your mindset and your skill set and critiquing over what it is that you're doing right now and where you want to go in business. Knowing is not enough, okay? It is now the time that we need to, look at that bigger picture and chop it into bite-sized sections over what we need to actually be applying and what we need to focus on exactly. So when we've put on here about reverse engineering and breaking it down, this is exactly the same concept as climbing that mountain. Knowing and understanding your goals, what it is that you want. What do you want to do in business? Are you that person that I said in the previous slide of, just sat in a 5 or a 6 on that average survival mode, treading water? Or have you got bigger goals, bigger visions? You want to claim more clients, you want to claim more market position in the rest of this year. 2020 is not over. 2020 is not a write-off. 2020 does not need you to just survive. You can have and be more around the rest of the year that is left. But we need to look at what reverse engineering is. Okay, again, with that, don't just go, oh yeah, just reverse engineering it. Yeah, cool. Quite a sexy phrase. I'm used to that. No, let's split it down and click it right back to determine what route you need to take. Be honest, be transparent with yourself, be open and open-minded to what you can do, what you're not doing enough of, what do you need to do more of, and actually hone your excellence. And that's what it's all about, okay? Having that practice, having that patience, having that perseverance. Those 3 Ps there that you see at the bottom are 3 Ps of a strategy that we use time and time again with individuals and business owners. You need practice, patience and perseverance with absolutely everything that you do. Climbing that mountain is going to need practice. You're not just going to go to the top straight away. We're going up Kilimanjaro next year. We can't just go off on a whim saying, right, okay, we're going to go to the top. We need to practice. We need to do baby mountains first. We need to put all of that into fruition so that we can build up that discipline, build up that mindset, and build up that skill set as well as actually putting one foot in front of the other. It's going to take patience. It's going to take patience in the fact that sometimes we'll do it, sometimes we won't. It'll hurt. We'll not want to. We need to then determine, is this just a skyline dream, or is it the fact of we are disciplined to do that? Be patient with ourselves. Be patient on the times where, we don't want to do it, but we do it. Be patient on the times where our body hurts. Okay, we've got to be persevering with everything that we're up against, all the challenges, all of the fact that, we've got other things that we could be doing. If you set a goal, you need to keep doing it, goal step by step. Okay, because if not, then that goal is not going to happen. I do want to say is with taking action, it's going to require you to back yourself. Okay, knowing it is not enough, wanting it is not enough, but combining the know and the want together with your commitment, you can definitely move from survival mode to thriving. Okay, embrace everything that's out there, that because there are so many different opportunities, but at the same time the opportunities can only happen and come to fruition on your table if you're either prepared to be open to them and welcome them into your desk, or go out there and hunt them down. Finished? Okay, that's it. Bringing it to a close then, guys. Thank you for your time. I do want to just say on that point, just to end it, this has literally been a whistle-stop tour on the second pillar of HEW. Within 40 minutes of just delivering, a small fraction of what your mindset is, what your skill set is, and how then that is conducive to your excellence, and then how you can transfer it into your business. Okay, if you do want to hear more information on that, and it's just kind of scratch that surface, giving you that intrigue that you want to learn more, stay close to the fire. You can find us on all of the social media platforms, personally and in business as well, on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter's on there. We've got the YouTube channel. Also do connect with us online on our website, which is helpingentrepreneurswin.com. You'll be able to find the links on all of those, and of the social media platforms for the podcast, the weekly podcast as well, which you'll be able to engage more with content, with guests, all about the entrepreneurial journey, all about mindset, all about the ups, the downs, the rounds, the roller coaster of life. But the fact is that we know that it is continual improvement to keep going and achieving what you want to achieve. So guys, I just want to say thank you for your participation today. It's been very much welcomed. And if you've got any questions at all, now pop them into the chat box, or Sam will probably unmute us all, and then we can take questions from you. If not, then contact us directly as well.
Lauren, did you want to add anything?
I think Helen finished it off great.
Great. So thank you very much, Helen, and thanks, Lauren. It was a really, really interesting snapshot at your second pillar of excellence. I think everybody on the call should give themselves a pat on the back this morning for already taking the first step to excellence by getting out of bed and being here on this webinar. Does anybody want to ask Lauren or Helen any questions? Either pop them in the box or raise your hand, and I'll keep an eye out for digital hands being raised. It would be interesting just to hear any feedback anybody's got, any questions or comments that they want to just pose to.
I have had a couple of private messages as well, so thank you for those, everyone. But just saying how much it's resonating, the topic's resonating, and I'm pleased it is, because literally this was just scratching the surface. We've not gone into any of it really, but it's just a fact of it's one key area that underpins absolutely everything that you do, and if that's not right, then you're really running the risk of just going into that survival highly densely populated area that I've mentioned.
The only thing I'd add on to that is, it's funny because when me and Helen were putting the agenda together, like I say, we're so appreciative of everyone's time. We've all got lots of things to be doing in our roles and our business, and sometimes mindset, it seems like a nice to have, doesn't it? You're like, oh, that'll be nice, I'll work on my mindset, and interchange the word mindset with other things we hear, our attitude, our outlook, our perspective. And just often we don't realize how much it is shaped by other things and other people. Our mindset and our perspective and our attitude, we're all human beings. We're all influenced. We're influenced by what's on the news channels, on the papers, in our social media feeds. An interesting one when we're all working from home is we're often influenced by our colleagues and the tone and the atmosphere in the office or in the business or wherever we are. And at the moment, we're all just influenced by our own four walls, mainly. I know we're coming out, and getting back to life again, but we're also working from home. So your mindset is something that you've got to take responsibility for. And that can be a tricky one, because it can feel like it's easy to go, well, my attitude was panned today because of this, or my mindset wasn't fantastic because of this external source. And it is a really brave, and, it sometimes feels like, say, that little bit of an ickiness, because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that mindset's just down to me, isn't it? And understanding how other people and other factors influence our mindset. When it's like turning a light on and then you can't unsee it. You know, I think everyone in lockdown has been aware that, you know, when we overconsume too much of the media and we watch, you know, the BBC or Sky News, and it's the same conversation on roll, and we've all become aware of it, because at points, I think most people I've spoke to, they're like, God, I've gone under at some points listening to that statistic. If I listen to that statistic one more time, you know, it's a Great Depression. We're never leaving the house again. The year's cancelled. We're all going back under the duvet. Just sod it. You know, that's it. Day over, month over, year over, done. So I think everybody's had that light on moment. Put that light on in other areas, and then you're like, oh crikey, yep, my mindset in other areas. So I think how other people influence it and how other things influence it, if you then turn that light on and it starts to feel like you've gone into a maze, please know that's why we say stay close to the fire. You know, Helen just reeled off where we are then, but honestly, you know, podcasts are a great one when you're working from home. If you're getting out for 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a walk, and you think, I need some positive mindset, put a bit of Lauren and Helen in your ears. You know, Helen's much more Sheffield, there's much more Yorkshire-based tones coming from her. I'm the other side of the Pennines, for anyone who wants no
Wrong side.
But listen, I know. I realise my crowd here. At least I'm not in Liverpool and I'm not a Liverpool supporter. If anyone else feels that joy, then you're there. Thanks, Rich.
What I do want to mention as well, guys, is the fact of next week, the 14th, Sam mentioned at the beginning, we do have another webinar just to finish it off nicely with the third column, which is wealth. And this is all about understanding your relationship and understanding your mindset around money. Because let's face it, we are in business, right? All of us are in business, or we are being paid to work. What is our relationship around that money? How do we manage it? How do we think about it? How do we make money? How do we, you know, look after it? And next week you need to be on that if you think and feel that your relationship could do with a little bit of a dusting off, because this is a fascinating one when business owners particularly come to us with their goals, and it's always like, I want more money, I want to go for the next job, I want promotion, or I want to open this business, or I want to diversify, I want to increase my profit margins. Okay, but then we reverse engineer it back and go right from the beginning of, okay, so let's understand you first, and it all starts with your mindset, your relationship around the cash.
Yeah, and just a reminder, everybody, that it is on the Chamber website, but it's next Tuesday, the 14th, and that's 9:30 till 10:30 again, like today, minding your money. So go ahead and book on that, and hope to see you all next week. Please spread the word as well. As Rich popped in the box, I think it's been thought-provoking at the very least, Helen and Lauren. So thanks ever much. Thanks ever so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. Will you be sending a follow-up with contact details and slides perhaps to delegates?
We can do, yeah, we can send it around, not a problem.
Yeah.
And please do engage with them on social media, LinkedIn and that if you...
We're a chatty bunch. We have a bit of fun on social. We're not, I promise you it's not too dark.
And then one final plug from me from the Chamber is that we do have our Simply Business networking event tomorrow morning, 9 till 10. So you can book on the Chamber website for that as well. So I hope to see some more of you there networking tomorrow. I think that's it, unless you want to add anything, Lauren or Helen.
That's it. Have a wonderful day, guys, and get working on that mindset.
Same to you.
Enjoy all the haircuts.
Nice to see you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.